Oh, hello. Welcome back to iSchool. Today we're just going to be how's my head cut off? Wrapping up. Okay, when last we left off, we're talking about a wicked problem, a super wicked problem, if you want. So we're going to start at zero again. When I kind of like to just build up a foundation. So what I have so far is the 10 and 10 plan. Essentially, 10 reasons. To give yourself a base or foundation, and then 10 reasons to question, I guess, the education system as is. Okay, so with that being said, it is a wicked problem. A wicked problem is defined as something that can't be solved. It doesn't have an answer to fix it. Okay, so I'm just kind of starting over again. I like to do like a base 10. And so I'm going to start off with one. We're going to talk about time, space, time. I'm just making this stuff up, kind of. But we're going to start with the concept of time. So zero, starting at zero, which is this infinite loop, right? That's our wicked problem. In this case, I'm taking on education is considered a wicked problem. So that's zero. Number one is time. So let's just talk about the concept of time for a minute. Just think of one timeline. And for your timeline, at least for education, is education starts at about 5 years of age. It is 50 states in the U.S. require mandatory education. That's 90% of the population go to public schools. That's about 50 million kids. They go through public education. So I think it's just worthwhile in our interest as far as education to know what kind of numbers we're looking at. So 90% of the population, according to the NAEP and other statistics, those branches that kind of go into the same category. I'm not going to start over, so even if I mess up, I'm just going to keep on going. Anyway, so we're looking at 90% of the population is required to go to some, at least public education, homeschooled, private schools. Any alternatives still have to go under the guidelines of this federal mandate, that you have to prove that you take tests adequately, etc. So time, we're going to consider time, at least for now, as a 1-to-1 ratio, as in 1 minute equals 1 minute, 1 hour equals 1 hour, 1 year equals 1 year. So from ages 5 to 18, 90% of the population is required to go to some kind of public schooling, and most of them go to public schools as education. So the ages are gapped from ages 5 to 8, 8 to 13, 13 to 18. So that's considered early adolescence, and according to pretty much anything you can look up online, psychologists will agree that the most formative years of neurobiological changes happen in these early ages of development. Reasonable? Okay, what else we got here? So we got number one ratio, 1-to-1 ratio. Are you hearing me with the microphone? I gotta lighten up a little bit. Okay, so from ages 5 to 18, as far as a timeline, you're consistently on this line. Now, time is going to change if we get into a little bit of the science, but for right now, let's just say when you're 13 and you're going to go on 14. 13 is the medium. It's like right in the medium age range, by the way. And let's see, what else do I have here? So the changes, the triangle will just say just represents change. So how much do you think you change physically, mentally, emotionally throughout these years while you are in public education? Yes, yes? So I'm talking about physical, cognitive, which just means how you think, and emotional. And then the physical, cognitive, and emotional changes that you're going through from ages 5 to 18 until you become officially an adult. Yes, yes? And then as I've mentioned before, there are 26 people who are pretty much what I've found is kind of the center of where education needs to go. That's for educational progress. So what these 26 decide and who they're getting their information from, which is still remains unknown for me, but there's 26 people that are in charge of the NAEP have a lot of control over this timeline of anyone who goes through public education, which is 90% of the population. Okay, so number one, time.